Hello, welcome to my channel. Today's video is a little odd. Excuse my voice. I've lost it a little bit. Because I lost also half of my video. It just wouldn't transfer from my camera. I don't know what's going on with that. Something I have to figure out. But the last few videos did transfer. And there's enough interesting stuff on there that I thought you might want to see. It might be helpful to someone anyway, so I thought I'd carry on. I'm showing you also some pictures that I did with the leftover paint from this video. And, excuse me, I made some cards which you can buy on Etsy. I'm also going to stick these on everything I can in Redbubble at CarolAnnsArt. And that's etsy.com CarolAnnsArt123. I do apologize for things being a little discombobulated, but I hope you'll forgive me, and I hope you'll enjoy the video and get something out of it anyway. And I want to say the very first thing I did was paint everything on my canvas in a mid-tone. You know, I always do that. And then I followed by putting in my shadows on my leaves. Well, first of all, I decided which direction the light was coming from, and then I put my shadows in, and then I put my highlights on that. I tell you, it's been one of those weeks. I ran out of palette paper, and I had no greaseproof paper. But I had kitchen foil, and that makes a good palette base. Just a little tip for you, in case you have the same problem. And it's nice and smooth. It shows up the colors well. It works. I'm using my usual palette of titanium white, primary yellow, raw sienna, raw umber, French ultramarine blue, sap green, and alizarin crimson. I used a large flat brush, a 3/4 inch, a liner brush, and a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch flat brush. I think that was all I used. As I said, I started off with a mid-tone, which I paint all over my canvas. And here you can see me adding a shadow side to the stem. And I used French ultramarine blue for that. I sometimes use raw umber, or sometimes even a purple. I like to get as many colors as I can into my painting, but that's just my style, and you may want to do something a little different with yours. I used a liner brush. It's also called a rigger because they used it in olden times when they were painting sailing ships and painting the rigging, which was very fine line. And I used it to put on some shadow areas on the pumpkin. I've got to tell you that quite often I do that with markers, with paint markers. And I did that, and I'll show you that as we go along. Okay, so we missed where I put the shadow side onto the leaves and onto the pumpkins. And now I'm mixing up a pale green, almost a yellow green, to put a highlight on the leaves. And you'll see the contrast with the shadow will make the leaf really pop. I don't add the highlight everywhere. You still see the mid-tone shining through here and there. I'm sorry you missed out on most of the painting. I really enjoyed doing this one too. I don't usually paint in these colors, and so it was very enjoyable for me. And I would have liked you to have seen it from the very beginning, but hey, hopefully I'll figure out what's going on with my camera, and if anyone knows, please leave a mention in the comments. That would be very helpful. I just couldn't get all the pictures to download, just the last 4. I should say videos, not pictures. Okay, so the pumpkins looked a little like they were floating in midair, so I'm setting them on the ground with a shadow underneath them. That if you have a vase or anything like that sitting on a table, to make it look as though it's actually sitting on the table and not floating in midair, you need to put a shadow in it. You can't forget that shadow. I decided you could see between the pumpkins, and I added light, which I'm hoping is reflected from the background. I think it looks good. I think it looks better than it did before, and I'm happy. I think the shadow lines on the pumpkins look a little harsh, and I could have dealt with that in a couple of ways, with paint, with a brush, but I chose to use markers instead. And I've got some very colourful markers, and I wanted to get extra colour in the painting, but not too much of it. So the first marker I used was a red one. It has a fine tip and a slightly thicker one at the opposite end, and I chose the thinner line, and I used that to mark in the veins on the leaves. And I hadn't thought at this point about doing anything about the shadow on the pumpkins. I just simply decided to use a marker on the leaves. And then I got the bright idea of using the thicker end and softening the shadow on the pumpkin. I'm not sure that these markers are acrylic, and I don't promote anything other than my own Etsy shop, however you say that, and Redbubble shop. So I won't tell you the name of them. And I think I would have to spray them with acrylic to make them permanent. You can see here that I used my finger to spread the colour. In retrospect, I should have used a damp brush, not a lot of water, just sort of damp, dry brush. And that would have helped spread the colour over a little bit. I really enjoyed working on this painting, and I should use more autumn colours. But hey, I'm going to go to town this next few weeks until Halloween. I've got a little black cat tucked in there. I wonder if you'll notice him. I think I put him on a season's greeting card on Etsy. You can download those prints and use them as much as you like. I don't put any restrictions on them. And I think I put a season's greeting card with the little black cat on it. Yes, I did a season's greeting, and on the pumpkin one as well. The one with the sunflowers, I signed it on the wrong side, And it should have been a vertical picture, and I made it horizontal, but it's not as good horizontal. So I'm not using that one. But the pumpkin, the 3 pumpkins and the little black cat with the sunflowers, you can find at CarolAnnsArt123 on Etsy.com. I must say that I made it to be printed quite large or small, card size, however you wished. And as I say, there are no restrictions to its use. So if you made it this far, that's wonderful, and thank you very much. I hope you'll like, share with your friends, and subscribe. That helps my channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it if you could find time to do that. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.